thank you to our sponsor, MBA Growth Partners.
Welcome to Studio 501c3. Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Kym Jones. We're featuring nonprofit organizations that have a 501c3 designation from the IRS because they're charities that provide a public benefit. And in most cases, your donations to these nonprofits are tax deductible. Today, I'm talking with Kym Awkard, the Executive Director of the Eastern Montgomery Emergency Assistance Network. Their acronym is EMEAN, E-M-E-A-N. The organization works with government, community, and faith-based partners to provide assistance with eviction prevention, utility disconnection, and prescription medications. Kym, thanks so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great. Well, let's get started. EMEAN focuses on financial assistance, especially the prevention of homelessness. That's one of the biggest things that you've been working on for so many years. Share more about the programs, the services that are making an impact in the service area.
Well, yes, thank you. Thank you so much. So Eastern Montgomery Emergency Assistance Network, or EMEAN or EMEAN, it's been around for about 27 years, 28 years. It started back in 1996. And essentially what we do is what you said. We provide financial assistance to families in need, particularly those families living in Eastern Montgomery County. The zip codes of 20903, 04, 05, 20866, and 20868. So we kind of cover from Cloverly over to the Greencastle area, down the 29 corridor past Hillendale, and we include Burtonsville and Spencerville and Cloverly and all under the guise.
About how far south on the 29 corridor? Are you going down to about the Burnt Mills, just past the New Hampshire Avenue and 29 corridor?
Yes, we're going actually just a little past that on down to Hillendale and kind of where almost you get to Langley Park.
Okay. So more about what happens on a day-to-day basis when people are in need of your services. Are you getting a call from them? Do they need to make an appointment? Are people able to just drop by a location? Tell us about the day-to-day for you.
Well, particularly since the pandemic, we do not encourage people to just drop by. A lot of us, and myself included, keep very irregular office hours. And quite frankly, I have been doing some work from home. But essentially, we receive phone calls, we receive emails, and we have a website where you could submit your contact information through it to us asking for assistance. Now, while we do provide emergency assistance, we specifically help people with eviction prevention, utility disconnection, and the need to have necessary medications and prescriptions filled. So
yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead, finish your thought.
No, you carry on.
I was going to say I know there must be a number of challenges. These are pressing issues. These are critical for people to maintain, some quality of life and dignity. What are some of the biggest challenges in connecting the people that you're serving to, the services that you provide to help them prevent homelessness so they're not evicted or they do have that prescription that they otherwise couldn't afford?
I guess the largest challenge in and of itself is funding. Because just today, for example, I was helping someone with medication. Medications can be astronomical. One prescription was $630. And I mean, to have to spend that kind of money for 30 days, not necessarily covered with your insurance, it can just
Or if you
put a
don't
hole
have,
in your
or
pocket.
if you don't have insurance, there are people who are uninsured that don't have insurance to even cover a portion of anything. So,
This is true, and we get plenty of those. And then
Mhm.
there's, assistance with utility disconnections and or rent. We don't want to see people homeless. We don't want to see people out in the street. And we field a tremendous amount of calls, not only from people in our service area, but
Mhm.
from people all over the DMV.
Mhm.
So, in addition to providing that service, we also provide a sympathetic ear and put people in contact with the necessary resources they need, especially if they're not in our service area.
So you end up doing some wraparound work, and which is why you have a coalition. But, before we go to a break, I want to ask you about the financial support that you receive. Is that coming from a variety of sources, donations, grants, government funding, or is it mostly from one source?
It's coming from a variety of resources. Primarily, however, we are supported by the local county government. We are supported by the Emergency Assistance Coalition, and we are supported by a wonderful coalition of churches
Mm,
um, here in this area who come together under the collective of C4. Were it not for those churches that supported us, we wouldn't be able to do the work that we do. And also, we do receive funding from individuals.
And that's important for people to know that they can contribute in some way. So I'm going to take a short break, but when we return, we're going to talk more about what you do at the Eastern Montgomery Emergency Assistance Network. And I want the audience to come back and join us. We'll be back in just a minute on Studio 501c3.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Can I get the now bar, please?
$1.
Have a good one.
Got it.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Let me get a now bar.
Sure. $1.
Appreciate you.
You got it.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. This is a serious problem, but one we can solve. Visit feedingamerica.org to help. Together we can solve hunger. Together we're feeding America.
Welcome back to Studio 501c3. I'm talking with Kym Awkard, the Executive Director of the Eastern Montgomery Emergency Assistance Network. So Kym, before the break, we were talking about the financial support. There's also obviously a coalition that you're working with, that you help to build, that you're sustaining. Tell us a little bit about the connection with the other programs that provide those other resources, because you can't do everything.
No, we can't. And even though we try, it's just impossible. Thank goodness for Montgomery County and the Montgomery County government. We are a member of a coalition, and that coalition has many nonprofits. Some serve the entire county. Some, like myself, are broken out so that we serve particular zip codes, although giving the county coverage. So for anyone who may call us, if they're not in my service area, I can recommend them to MUM, which is Ministries United, or Mid-County
Mhm.
United Ministries,
Yeah.
excuse me,
Mhm.
who handle the 20906, 20902 zip code. Or there's Must, who handles the downtown Silver Spring and Tacoma Park areas.
Mhm.
And then there's also other organizations like Catholic Charities and Salvation Army. We all work in concert to try to meet the needs of our constituents. Now, for me in the East County, I work very closely with the East County Regional Service Center, and I feel tremendously blessed to be able to work with that group of folks who know all the ins and outs of the various services available to the county and who help me and serve as a resource as I serve clients who live and families who live in the zip codes that we serve.
So I want to ask a question about volunteers also. Most nonprofit organizations can never have enough volunteers. Tell us about people that are able to volunteer. How do they just email you, get in touch with you and say, I have some time to contribute? What might they be able to help with?
Well, yes, we are definitely in need of volunteers. Prior to the pandemic, I did have quite a few, but as you can imagine, with the onslaught of the pandemic, I lost all of my volunteers. They were primarily senior citizens, and their health was at risk. So of course we had to be safe. Now there are tremendous opportunities available for anybody who would love to donate their time and their energy. We're looking for customer service oriented folks who enjoy engaging with people on the phone, because more often than not, people need a sympathetic ear. They just need somebody to hear what their issues are and then to be able to provide them with a resolution or some assistance,
Mhm.
either directly from our organization or being referred to another organization that can help them. And basically, there are services they require that we don't even cover, but other organizations do. For example, people may need to move. The Department of Health and Human Services can assist people with getting security deposits, first month's rent. We
Mhm.
don't do that, but people do call us for that. People call us because they need food. While we don't provide food, I do have a list of resources that I can provide to anyone looking to get food in Montgomery County.
Okay. Well, this is a tremendous resource for the community, and I know that the people who are in receipt of your programs and services are tremendously grateful. Unfortunately, that's the end of our time, but Kym, thank you so much for sharing all of this information with the audience so that we can learn more about the Eastern Montgomery Emergency Assistance Network. Appreciate you being here today.
Thank you so much for having us. And please, for anybody who's interested, feel free to go to our website. You can hit a donate button to give funds to support our organization, or you can click on to volunteer, or you can
And
just.
we're going to put up your website. So to learn more, you can go to EMEAN.org. Kym, thanks again, and thanks to Montgomery Community Media for letting me help bring you this valuable information. I'm Kym Jones, and I'll see you next time on Studio 501c3.